Alright, so I know I'm a little bit late when it comes to the realistic Rockets rebuild game post-Harden era, but hey, I'm just doing my James Harden, Kyrie Irving impression, holding out on training camp and such. The fact James Harden got traded is a surprise to absolutely nobody. But the trade itself, I think, was a surprise to literally everybody. So we're going to go through this trade team by team really quick. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers, wherever they are, C in the alphabet, who get Jared Allen out of this trade, as well as, I believe, Torian Prince. Yeah, so more bigs for some reason. I mean, small forward and a center. They already have Drummond, Allen they got, Kevin Love, Larry Nance, and JaVale McGee. So quite a lot of bigs for this team. So I think that I'll get into my opinions in a little bit. The Brooklyn Nets, I mean, we know who they got. They got the guy with the big beard, strip club man himself. The Indiana Pacers got in on this trade, which is very unexpected, I think, and they get Karis LeVert out of this trade. And finally, the Houston Rockets, our team that we're going to be rebuilding today, get Victor Oladipo, Rodion Kurucs, wherever he is, yep, and Dante Exum, as well as, if you go to the view picks, a crap ton of picks. This Nets pick, I believe this Bucks pick, the potential to swap picks with the Nets in, I think, 2023, 2025, 2027, and they have their unprotected picks in 2022, 2024, 2026, and I believe 2028. It was 4 unprotected first round picks and 4 potential pick swaps with the Brooklyn Nets. So it was a great haul, I would think, in my opinion, for what they could have gotten for James Harden. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, I expect one or both of Kevin Love and Andre Drummond to be moved by at latest the deadline because they just have too many bigs on this team. There's too much crowded talent, I guess, or I'd say mid-level talent on that Cleveland Cavaliers team. The Pacers, they get a similar player to Oladipo, and he's on a nice contract that's not expiring. So a team that's consistently trying to make the playoffs, they are always at risk to just losing Oladipo for nothing, especially because it still seems like he's expecting 25 to 30 million in free agency this year. So a good deal for the Pacers as well. The Nets are in a bit of an interesting situation. They have some suspect depth, but stars win games, and I think that they love this deal. I mean, at the buyout deadline, they'll probably get some impactful players, but it especially sucks that Dinwiddie's still out. That was going to be their really big depth piece off the bench. I can't say depth. I sound like Mike Tyson. Depths. But they have the 3 stars in Brooklyn, but they all actually have, interestingly enough, 2 years left on their contracts, and then player options in the 2022-2023 season. And that's something to keep in mind because they did give up a lot of picks. I mean, this is a Billy King 2.0 level of picks that they gave up. And if they underperform in 2 years or 3 years, say, there are some worries that with all the picks they gave up, Billy King 2.0 is a possibility. But hey, I think that's a later problem. And then finally, just going back to this Rockets roster real quick, I'm surprised that PJ Tucker was not somehow involved in this deal. Wall, Christian Wood, DeMarcus Cousins, and pretty much the rest of this team, I would say, is fully bought into the season and continuing to try to compete this season. But Tucker still seems to be a little bit disgruntled, so I'm going to move him in this first year. And they don't have a championship ceiling yet, but with 2 to 3 more years of Wall, who's been very solid this year, averaging over 20 points per game, a good amount of assists, been staying explosive. They still have an option to re-sign Oladipo in free agency if he impresses them, and he'll be asking for 25 to 30 million, but he definitely is an ex-All-NBA player with still a lot of talent. And they have a stud in Christian Wood, who's on an absolutely heavenly, mouth-watering contract of 3 years, like $40 million, which is absolutely insane. As well as I said, all of the picks. DeMarcus Cousins is rated a little bit too high in 2K. He hasn't really been performing like an 82 overall, which really sucks. I mean, he's struggled since that Warriors stint that he had, just all the injuries. I mean, he was so good on the Kings, and even on the Pelicans when he was healthy, he was so amazingly good. But then you still have the rest of the guys. Eric Gordon on his big contract. He's been playing okay. He hasn't been shooting great the last couple of years. If you go to his season stats, he shot pretty badly last year, and he hasn't been shooting great this year, but Eric Gordon's the veteran of the team. PJ Tucker's probably going to get traded. Then you have these, 3-and-D wing guys, Ben McLemore, Daniel House, David Nwaba. Chris Clemens is not going to get playing time just because he's out for the entire season in real life. But I turned injuries off because in my last video, the injuries were absolutely insane. Then you have a few other guys, Sterling Brown, Dante Exum, Rodion Kurucs, Deshaun Tate, and Kenyon Martin Jr., who's only 19 years old. So this is definitely going to be an interesting rebuild. Let's get to it. This is one trade that I kind of built myself for PJ Tucker. The Washington Wizards are not heavily in the playoff race right now, but they're still trying to compete with Russell Westbrook, and they don't want to upset Bradley Beal and keep losing on this team. So for Robin Lopez and a second-round pick, getting them PJ Tucker, which can get them that defense that they desperately need, because this team has been atrocious on defense. As Bradley Beal said, they can't guard a parked car. I said that they had defense worse than the U.S. Capitol. A lot of memes about this team's defense. So PJ Tucker could probably help this team's defense, and on an expiring contract, let's see if they accept this deal. They don't, but they just want me to add in a 2025 unprotected second-round pick, and they'll give me another second. We'll accept that. So with that trade, I'll let you guys know if there's anything else. If not, I'll probably see you at the trade deadline or even at the award races for this year. This Houston Rockets team really needs some depth at the power forward and small forward positions, so I was going to cut a player from this Houston Rockets team and try to find someone in free agency to fill that hole just for this year. I'm still going to cut Deshaun Tate, but if this isn't the most Rockets thing you've ever seen, look at this. Deshaun Tate is a 6'4" power forward. What the heck is this? But he's 25 and only a 70 overall, so he doesn't have much room for growth. So I'm going to release him to free agency. And then going to free agency, looking at like small forwards and power forwards, Mario Hezonja doesn't really interest me. If we could get Ersan Ilyasova, I know he's retired, so I'd probably try to stray away from him. Chandler Parsons, a lot of these guys want more money than I'm exactly thrilled to give up. Could we offer Rondae Hollis-Jefferson a contract? We could offer him $5.76 million for 1 year. He'll probably accept this, and he will. After some positional adjustments, this is what I'm going to decide to have the rotation run out as for year 1. I'm not going to make any more trades, and I'm going to simulate to the end of the season after this. John Wall at 34 minutes per game, Victor Oladipo at 32, Eric Gordon at 30 at the small forward position. We're going to have Rondae Hollis-Jefferson starting at power forward just because I don't want to start Christian Wood and Boogie together. So we're going to have just Hollis-Jefferson be there as a placement starter, 28 minutes per game. Christian Wood getting 34 minutes per game at the center position. DeMarcus Cousins getting 22 off the bench as the sixth man. Then we have Daniel House, Ben McLemore, David Nwaba, and Dante Exum getting a few minutes off the bench. I don't want to play Chris Clemens this year just because he is injured in real life and it's a full season injury, so I don't want him playing any minutes. But this is the team. There's a possibility that they contend for a playoff spot, but we're just going to simulate to the end of the season and then start making real moves when it gets to the off season. When it gets to the off season, we can start, trying to package some picks with the John Wall or Eric Gordon contracts, seeing if we can get off of those eventually. I think they'll both have 2 more years left on their contract after this. So once it gets to 1 or 2 more years left, teams may be willing to take on those contracts, but for now, we're probably stuck with them. We'll see if we can make a playoff push, and if not, stuff will happen in the off season. Coming into the trade deadline, there's not really any moves to make right now. We're 24 and 29, which I believe, if I remember correctly, is this is the 6th seed, 7th seed, 8th seed. We're like 1 game out of the playoffs. We're still in a very intense fight for this 8th seed. The bottom, or not the bottom, but the mid-tier of this Western Conference is obviously super cluttered this year. So there's still a possibility for a playoff push, and there's no reason to not go for a playoff push. This Rockets team does not have their first round pick this year, I should say. They do have it next year, but there's no incentive to tank, so we're going to keep trying to make the playoffs, and I'll see you guys at the end of the season. As this season is wrapping up, it looks like we're going to make the playoffs. We had a fiery end of the season, and with these last 2 weeks, we got 3 more games. We're 45 and 35. We're going to have a 45 win season post Harden in the first season. That's a little bit surprising to say the least. Giannis is your MVP, going 3 for 3. In the last 3 years, 31 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists. Crazy numbers. James Wiseman, Rookie of the Year, 17 and 10. He's been playing great this year. Spencer Dinwiddie, injuries are off, so 6th Man of the Year for the stacked Brooklyn Nets team at 19 and 7 per game. Giannis DPOY. Mo Bamba, Most Improved Player. And Steve Nash, 66 and 16, Coach of the Year as his first year as head coach. Here, your All-NBA first team. Your All-NBA second team, you got James Harden and Kevin Durant. And All-NBA third team is here. No Kyrie Irving on any of these teams. Defensive teams right here. And here are the rookie teams. So, we are a 4 seed in the playoffs after that very surprising end of the year. Showing salary cap, because of the James Harden trade, we got off of James Harden's contract. We also got off of PJ Tucker's contract, even though I think it was expiring at the end of this year anyway. But in free agency, we're going to have $29.11 million. Excluding Rodeo Kuruntz's team option and Chris Clemens, which we may or may not accept, but we're definitely going to have some money to work with in free agency. We could either re-sign Victor Oladipo or not. We'll decide what we're going to do with that once the time comes. Player stats for this season: John Wall at 23 and 9 per game, peak John Wall form, and he's been playing like that this year, so honestly, good for him. Victor Oladipo 18 and 4.5, DeMarcus Cousins 16 and 7, Christian Wood only 15.5 points and 12.5 rebounds. I might have to check his shooting tendencies, but he should definitely be averaging more than that. He's a stud. Eric Gordon 13 points and 42% field goal shooting and 36 from the three-point line, so not bad efficiency-wise and scoring-wise. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson did a good job as a spot starter, and the rest of the bench was, the rest of the bench. But going into this first round matchup against the Phoenix Suns, I'm just going to simulate the round. Actually, we'll take a quick look at our system proficiency first. It's 3.5 stars, 7 seconds, which is the best right now with Steven Silas. So in this first round series against the Phoenix Suns, let's see how this goes. They take game 1 at our home. We split it at home 1-1. They go up 2-1. We tie it 2-2. They go up 3-2, and we are eliminated in game 6. In game 6 of the playoffs, or the first round, Devin Booker at 29, Ayton at 27. They traded for Derrick Rose, who got 23 points for them, and Chris Paul at 14 and 8. Christian Wood at 23 and 15. Eric Gordon at 21, Oladipo 17, Wall 16, and Cousins 16. It's not enough. I'll show the quick playoff stats, even though it's a very short run in the playoffs for this Houston Rockets team. John Wall averaged 27 and 10.5. Oladipo 19, Eric Gordon 18, and Wood 18 and 11. Assuming you care, which I assume you do because this is a Houston Rockets rebuild where James Harden was traded to the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets were your NBA championships winners. Oh, that was a weird way to say that. KD is Finals MVP, averaging 29, 7.5, and 7.5 assists. And they beat the Lakers in the Finals matchup that actually absolutely no one expected, 4-2. Actually, one quick thing before I go to the offseason, I am going to change Christian Wood's shot tendency up to an 85, just because he should be shooting more because he's an absolute beast. And DeMarcus Cousins, I'm going to lower to a 70. He should not be shooting as much as Christian Wood. So, I'll see you at the offseason. So, pretty much just skipping to the rookie signings. We just had our second round pick because the Detroit pick was lottery protected, and obviously the Detroit Pistons suck, so they missed the playoffs and they got their pick still. We had our second round pick. And we'll sign Gabe Brown, a 71 overall. That's not too bad, especially for a second round pick, so we'll sign him up. And for team player options, Chris Clemens and Rodion Kurucs, just for $1.5 million each, we'll accept. If we need to, we can trade them if we're trying to clear up any salary cap, but no point not to accept them at this moment. For the qualifying offers, I don't see really any reason to extend the qualifying offer to any of these guys. We can pick up anyone as good as them in free agency. And going to the moratorium period, we should have bird rights on Victor Oladipo and Sterling Brown and Dante Exum, I guess, but that's not really important. But we do have about $22 million to work with in free agency, as well as the potential to re-sign Victor Oladipo. So looking at our roster, we have John Wall and Chris Clemens, no shooting guards, Eric Gordon, Daniel House, Kenyon Martin Jr., and Gabe Brown, the rookie we signed, Rodion Kurucs, and Christian Wood. I'm not completely opposed to playing Christian Wood at the power forward if we find a center that can play well with him. But let's go to the guys who we can afford. We don't really need a point guard because we have John Wall, at least for the moment. Victor Oladipo is an option to re-sign. Otto Porter Jr., only wanting $13 million a year, is pretty good for the small forward position, so I think I'm going to offer him about a 2-year, 1-and-1 team option, $25 million kind of thing, because I like the defense that Otto Porter can bring, as well as the three-point shooting. For the power forward position, they changed Daniel Tice to a power forward. That's weird. We could get either a power forward or a center that could play well with Christian Wood. I still think I do see Christian Wood as more of a center, unless there's a guy that's just like Jared Allen, who's really a paint body. So we could offer him or Whiteside a few tens of million dollars actually though. Jabari Parker, Kelly Olynyk. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to let you guys know when I make my offers in free agency. So after day one, all three of the guys that I offered accept: Otto Porter, Serge Ibaka, and Victor Oladipo, but we only have the cap space to sign one of them. So I think that guy probably is going to be Victor Oladipo. His stats were pretty good last year. He's the best overall player out of the players we offered. So I think Serge Ibaka and Otto Porter are not going to be quite in our pay grade, so I'm going to go out of moratorium period and see what guys we can offer with our mid-level exception and stuff like that. I gave Victor Oladipo a 1+1 with a team option type deal, so we can always reevaluate after next season, in which we'll probably have a lot of cap space, hoping we can get one of those Eric Gordon or John Wall contracts off of our books. And we can move on to player progression and see how our guys, well, or our players I should say, progressed. Christian Wood only goes up 1 to an 84. I would like to see a little bit more of a jump, but that's okay. John Wall goes down 2 to an 82. Oladipo goes down 1 to an 82 as well. Eric Gordon goes down a lot. We might try to get off of his contract even if it requires packaging a first round pick. Rudy Gay also goes down a good amount. A lot of our guys regressed, so I'm going to go to training camps. Also, I'm loading in this 2022 draft class. For our training camps, I think that I'm going to send big man offense to Christian Wood just so he can continue to be the beast that he is. And I'm also going to send perimeter defense to... I don't really see any of these guys being with us long term except for Christian Wood. So I'm probably just going to also send... Oh, we can only do one per person. I'll send perimeter shooting to Victor Oladipo. So I think I made a very similar trade last video actually, but I'm going to send Eric Gordon to the Memphis Grizzlies as well as these 2 first-round picks, one from Milwaukee and one from Brooklyn, for Xavier Tillman and Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley's an expiring contract for this team, and Xavier Tillman's a power forward who's going to have to contend for minutes behind Jaren Jackson Jr. and Brandon Clark, which would make him expendable. Also, this team just doesn't have a small forward, so they actually might be in need of Eric Gordon's services. So we're going to be able to get off of his contract, and by giving up 2 first-round picks, I'm hoping that we can, have some more flexibility in the future. So that's one trade we're going to do. And I think this is the second trade that I'm going to do before the start of the 2021-2022 season. Daniel House, we're going to swap the worst of the Detroit and Oklahoma City picks and Rudy Gay for Clint Capella and the worst of these 2 teams. I think this is a good deal for both teams as well. Onyeka Okongwu is really coming into his own and is already an 81 in his sophomore season, so the Hawks don't really have a use for Clint Capella anymore. He's not on a bad contract, and we still get a pretty good first-round pick out of this. They still get Daniel House, Rudy Gay, 2 deeper rotational pieces, and a better pick than what they had. So we're going to go with this, and we're going to change Christian Wood to the power forward position. I think if there's a big, rebounding lob threat guy at the center, Christian Wood can work well at the power forward in some instances. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change Christian Wood to a power forward, make his backup position a center by going into the vitals right here and changing his secondary position to center. And then so finally, with the Magic, we're going to pull off this trade. Gary Clark's going to probably start at the 3 for us. He's 6'6", he's listed as a power forward, but he's got an A- 3-point scoring, a B- perimeter defense, so he can hold his own on the perimeter. Pretty good defensive. He's just going to be a spot starter again at the small forward for this team. So going to Gary Clark, we're going to put him to the small forward. He's going to go down in overall, that's fine. I think we have 375 overall small forwards now, so not the most ideal. I'll make his secondary position power forward. I was kind of hoping he would actually go up in rating, but they still want Kenyon Martin Jr. starting. I'm not going to start Kenyon Martin Jr. I'm going to start Gary Clark, I think. Have Ken Martin Jr. get a little bit less minutes off the bench. And Rodion Kurucs, I guess, can still get minutes as well. Still have a little bit of a power forward logjam, but that's fine. I don't particularly think we are amazing title contenders this year. I'm going to give these last few minutes just to Boban, maybe 9 minutes off the bench to Boban, 15 to Tillman, 18 and 16 to those guys is fine, 24 to Beverley. We'll go 30, 36 to Christian Wood. We'll give 28 to Gary Clark, I guess, 32 to Oladipo, and 32 to Wall. We're going to try to compete for the playoffs again this year. We did trade our first-round pick, I believe, so I'll see you guys either at the trade deadline or at the award races, or award finales. Award finals? The final awards. The awards that get given at the end of the season. Got it. And by the way, for the offense in the 2021-2022 NBA season, we're still running 7 seconds with Steven Silas because it is the best lineup for our team. So, let's get it. I also want to point out we're at the contract extension deadline right now, and while John Wall would like to re-sign or talk an extension, for only $19 million a year, which isn't too bad, I think that we still want to get off his contracts. There's no reason to re-sign him. I'm probably going to trade him in the offseason at the draft, and more teams have cap space, so I'm going to hold off on re-signing his contract right now. we're 22 and 15 right now. I'm probably just gonna go past the trade deadline, and I'll see you guys in the playoffs. Hopefully, we're talking playoffs. At the end of season number 2, an exhausted-looking Nick Jokic is the MVP, averaging 24, 13, and only 9 assists. God, couldn't even average a triple-double. What a noob. Rookie of the year, Cade Cunningham on the Knicks. Oh, man, I hope I see that. Precious Achiuwa, 6th man of the year, averaging 18.5 in his second year. Holy crap. AD, DPOY, and Precious Achiuwa also most improved player. Makes sense. Stan Van Gundy is the coach of the year of the New Orleans Pelicans at 61 and 21 as well. Here are the first teams, the second teams, and the third teams. John Wall makes an All-NBA third team, averaging 23 and 9. Oh, God, John Wall, go crazy. Here are the defensive teams, where we obviously have no one, and the rookie teams, where we also have no one. We were the 4th seed again in the playoffs at 49 and 33, not having made too many changes. Let's go look at our player stats. I mean, John Wall went crazy. It's definitely going to be easy to get rid of that contract this semester. My God, I'm thinking about school already. This season. Wow, but Victor Oladipo, 23.5. John Wall, 23.5. Christian Wood, 23 and 10. John Wall also had 9 assists. Clint Capella, a double-double. Kenyon Martin Jr. The rest of the team is pretty suspect, but these top 3 guys honestly looking kind of good. John Wall's contract is really, really big, but we may have some decisions to make in the offseason. Definitely interesting. The small forward position is definitely still giving us some troubles. Gary Clark has not seemed to be great in that starting lineup, so I think that I'm going to put Kenyon Martin Jr. as the starter because he's been averaging the most points and doing it off the bench, so we'll give him that role. We don't need to have Gary Clark and Torrey Craig getting minutes, so we're going to take away Torrey Craig's minutes, and we're going to give them to Boban Marjanovic mostly. We're going to give a few less minutes to these guys off the bench, 20 to Tillman, 24 to Beverly, and we're going to give, for the playoffs, 32 to Wall, 32 to Oladipo, 36 to Wood, 32 to Capella. We'll give the last minute to John Wall because of his All-NBA season that he just had. So first round against the Dallas Mavericks, they have Tyrell Terry, Kendrick Nunn, Luka, Lauri Markkanen, and Kristaps Porzingis. Weird team. I've never seen them have that combination of players. We could win. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. It's 1-1. They go up 2-1. They go up 3-1. Oh, but we got the comeback. 3-2. Easy, ready, 3-3. Nope. All right, we lose in 6 in the first round again. Not bad. I'm going to simulate to the end of the playoffs, and I will let you know who wins the 2021 to 2022 NBA championship. And it's the Mavericks. But hey, we lost in 6 to the champions, so not bad. Luka averages 28, 10, and 13 in the finals, average numbers. The Brooklyn Nets went down 3-0 in the first round against the Orlando Magic, but then they made it a 7-game series, but they didn't win. So, guess they're only ahead of us 1-0 in the whole championships department so far. I'll let you know when something happens during this offseason. In that trade that we made, swapping picks with the Detroit Pistons, our pick had worse odds, but it went higher in the draft. So I guess when you swap a pick, you swap whichever one has the highest odds, not whichever one is the highest pick. So we actually get the 3rd overall pick in this draft via the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is amazing. We also have the 22nd pick from ourselves and the 1st pick in the 2nd round from the Chicago Bulls. So I may try to package our 22nd pick with John Wall in order to get his contract off of the books and probably draft the number 3 pick, but I'll let you know what I do. Update, John Wall has a player option, so I can't actually package anything right now. Darn. Despite seeing some interesting offers for the 3rd overall pick in the trade finder, I think that I'm going to make a selection with my 3rd overall pick here, and I'm going to pick Patrick Baldwin. He's the highest rated small forward in the draft, and as A- overall as seen here. He's a really good 3-point shooter, A+. Not a great defender, which is a little bit suspect, but has A- potential as well, so hopefully we can surround him with some defenders and make this a good pick. So we're going to select Patrick Baldwin with our 3rd overall pick. And going to the 22nd overall pick, I think we're going to do this. We're just going to delay the inevitable and not draft in this draft class, and I'll see you guys at rookie signing. It looks like we may have gotten one of the best players in the draft at an 81 overall, so that's really, really good for us. For team player options, Victor Oladipo, I think we're going to accept. We may use him in a sign-in trade. We're probably going to try to trade John Wall during this period too, but we'll accept it for now. Ken Martin Jr. will accept, and Gabe Brown will accept just for $1 million. So there's a trade that was kind of like this in the trade finder, but I modified a little bit for what I think is fair and helps me and them the most. So this Suns team, Chris Paul retired. So coming off of an All NBA season, I think that they wouldn't mind having John Wall come onto their team. They have this Will Richardson guy who's decent. He has B plus potential, so he's not crazy valuable, but I think he'll help our team in the long run. We're giving them Ken Martin Jr., Gabe Brown, and a second round pick, and they're giving up Will Richardson and an unprotected 2025 first round pick. I'm probably going to try to just make that a 2026 or 2025. I can't put a protection on it. Honestly, don't even need the first round pick in this trade. We have plenty of first round picks. I'm fine doing this straight up, and they will accept. So after that, we do have quite a good amount of money in cap space. So I think that we are going to go after a free agent. So after day one of free agency, we do get Jimmy Butler in free agency. So I think that we're going to accept this deal. He's a little bit older, but I only gave him a 3-year contract, so I'm not as worried about it. And I didn't give him a no trade clause. So we are going to get Jimmy Butler in free agency, and that's our star. I mean, we have a really well built around team around, the whole team now. And I think we can fill out our rotation with a few good guys as well. We could sign a Ricky Rubio, a Devin Hall. He's a restricted free agent, though. Kyle Anderson. Robert Covington would be good to have off the bench. Let's see. I'll offer Robert Covington a little dealio. Carmelo Anthony's probably going to regress a bunch. Bobby Portis has been good off the bench for the Bucks this year. I'll offer him a deal. And I'll also offer Ricky Rubio a deal. So let's see how many of those guys accept. Looks like none. Bobby Portis and Robert Covington both accept. Is it going to let me sign both these guys? No. It's going to let me sign Bobby Portis. Whatever. Do we have bird rights on Rodion Kurucs? I saw that we have a cap hold on him. We do. $8 million a year is a little bit more than I'm comfortable giving up. I'll give him 1 year for $7 million and see if he accepts that. Ricky Rubio can't be signed either. That kind of sucks. But we can sign Rodion Kurucs as well. I'm going to go just to the end of the regular season. I'm not really going to care too much about training camps this season, and I'm going to try to figure out the roster once we get there. Where's our team? Huh? Oh, this is just a summer league. I guess that's a little bit of a glitch. So we'll have to see our team at the end of, or I guess at the beginning of the regular season. So after scouring the league, I think that we need to make one more trade to really be the championship contender that I want us to be for this third year. We still have Clint Capella under contract, and we got this younger Will Richardson guy who's already an 80 overall. Rodion Kurucs also is in here to make the salary work, and we're going to try to trade for De'Aaron Fox. You may be like, why would they want Clint Capella? Why would they want to trade De'Aaron Fox? Well, hypothetical viewer, I'm glad you asked. De'Aaron Fox is not particularly happy with how things are going around here, and yes, he's only 24, but Marvin Bagley is gone. Hassan Whiteside's also gone. They drafted Jalen Johnson, they have Tyrese Halliburton, and they just drafted this guy, I believe, first overall in the draft. They just drafted a point guard who's already an 82 overall at 19 years old. So, De'Aaron Fox, feeling tolerable, may want out, especially because this team probably still won't be winning for a few seasons, even with all the young talent that they have. So I'm going to try to do a trade of Clint Capella, Will Richardson, and Rodion Kurucs for De'Aaron Fox, and we have a lot of picks. We have 4 first-round picks in the 2023 draft, and a few other first-round picks besides those. So I'm going to throw in this lottery-protected Wizards pick, and I'm going to throw in this unprotected Suns pick, which has a lot of value, and I think this is plenty to give up for De'Aaron Fox. Let's see, do I even need to throw in this Wizards pick? I may have to. Let's try to throw in that Wizards pick, and they do agree to that offer. And what goes around comes around, I guess. Our last trade of the video will be with the Indiana Pacers. Doug McDermott, I'm going to change him to a small forward. He's going to be our 9th man off the bench for Robert Woodard, Shabazz Napier, and a second-round pick. They agree to that. I'm going to go down and change Doug McDermott to a small forward, which I think he'll go up at. I don't even need to have him at backup power forward. And then we'll have Xavier Tillman, Bobby Portis, Doug McDermott, and Tomas Satoransky coming off the bench. And this is going to be our final lineup. De'Aaron Fox, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, Patrick Baldwin, and Christian Wood, with Doug McDermott, Xavier Tillman, Bobby Portis, and Tomas Satoransky off of the bench. I don't want to have this be I want this to be a 9-round rotation, so the minutes will look like this. I think Patrick Baldwin fits well at the 4. He's an A-plus 3-point scorer, but he's 6'10". He's not great defensively, but Jimmy Butler can pick up the good forward defensive assignment with his A perimeter defense and even C-plus post defense, so he can more than handle his own over there. Christian Wood is a good post defender as well, about average for the center position, so he fits well at the center, and an A-plus rebounder. Victor Oladipo also has good playmaking and good perimeter defense, and De'Aaron Fox, amazing playmaking and very good perimeter defense. Our bench has a really good shooter in Doug McDermott, Xavier Tillman, who's just kind of an all-around decent player, good post defense and good rebounding off the bench. Bobby Portis, good three-point shooter, a little bit of a 3-and-D guy off of the bench. And Tomas Satoransky, who can do some playmaking and shooting off of the bench. I think this is a really well-constructed team, and that was the last trade, like I said, with the Indiana Pacers. Looking at a few more things, our system proficiency is 4 stars, 7 seconds, with Steven Silas, who we've kept through this video, as he's done a really good job leading us to 2 playoff appearances. And I don't think I have anything else to show. So let's go to the end of the season and try to win a championship in 2022 to 2023 NBA season. And in this final season, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the MVP, averaging 29.7, 11.6, and 5.3 assists, 57% from the field, 37% from 3, god dang, and 63% from the line. Not close to that 50-40-90. Chet Holmgren, Rookie of the Year, averaging a double-double, 18 and 10. Precious Achiuwa again, mid 6th Man of the Year at 20 and 8. Anthony Davis, 25, 12.5, and 3.5. DPOY, I think that's his second one. And Jalen Suggs, Most Improved Player for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Steve Nash, 57 and 25 as the Coach of the Year, though. We were a few wins behind that. Here are the All-NBA teams. Trae Young's on the Knicks now. That doesn't really make any sense, but okay. Here's the second team. Nope, that's not the second team. Here's the second team. Kevin Durant makes that second team, as well as James Wiseman and LaMelo Ball. And the NBA third team, we have De'Aaron Fox, Kyrie Irving's also there, Zion, Jason Tatum, and Joel Embiid. Here are the defensive teams, and here are the rookie teams, in which Patrick Baldwin is on the all-rookie first team. Very cool, very cool. Looking at our player stats for this year, De'Aaron Fox, our leading scorer, at 26 points per game and 9 assists, taking over the team. Christian Wood, 17.7 and 12.6 rebounds. Amazing stats from him as well. Jimmy Butler, 16.5, 5.5, and 6.5, playing amazing defense. Patrick Baldwin, the rookie, 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Great all-around play. Victor Oladipo, 15 points as well. And then our bench did benchy things, you know. They played well in the minutes that they had. Let's see if anyone was 50-40-90. No one was quite 50-40-90. I always like to check, 'cause 2K is so cheesy with the 50-40-90 club, and it's way too easy to get 50-40-90 in 2K. Anyway, going on to the first round, we are facing the Dallas Mavericks. We are a 3 seed and they are a 6 seed. They have the Luka guy and the tall Latvian man. They also have Kendrick Nunn, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Tyler Bay. I think we can beat this team. Luka's very scary in 2K, but we'll see how this goes. We win game 1. We win game 2. We win game 3. Don't tell me about to sleep Luka. No. They win game 5. But we go in 5 games to the second round of the playoffs, where we'll be facing the Minnesota Timberwolves, the 2 seed. Okay, they have D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Isaiah Jackson, and Karl Anthony Towns. Alright, 4 of those guys are already on the team in real life, and they have Isaiah Jackson, and I guess that was enough to be a 2 seed. Again, I'm not particularly scared of this team, so I'm going to simulate the round. They go up 2-0. We go to 2-1. Okay. I'm going to simulate this game by game now, because I was a little scared we went down 2-1 there. They go up 3-1. Oh, okay. I guess we're going to shorten our rotation a little bit. I don't really like that just happened. So I guess we'll give less minutes to Tomas Satoransky because he's struggling. Doug McDermott doesn't need 25 minutes off the bench. We'll give 34, 36, 36, 36, 32 to Baldwin. And we'll give a 37th minute to De'Aaron Fox. And I guess we're going to simulate with Simcast here. Let's see. We go up in the first quarter. Took a pretty good lead. We also go ahead in the second quarter. And we're going to dominate this game 134 to 108. Okay, let's just get 2 more of those. This one should be back on our home floor. We win the first quarter again. They take a lead in the second quarter. Tied at 60. Wow. Nice. Look at that timing right there with 10:01 left in the third. We're up by 7. We're up by 12. Let's not choke this lead away. Ooh, we're trying to, but then we finish out strong, I think? Yeah, finish out strong and win by 8 points to force a game 7. And this is a little scary. Game 7, game 7. Do I want to make any more coaching adjustments? No, I think I like the rotations being set here. I think we're just gonna go for it. Let's go. Let's do this. Game 7. Game 7. We got this. We got this. Oh, we take a huge lead in the first quarter. It's over. Yeah, it's over. It's over. Yeah, 3-1. Never heard of her. Fox and the Rockets blast the Timberwolves in a 134-117 win. In that game 7, De'Aaron Fox had 38 and 13, Patrick Baldwin had 26, and Christian Wood had 17 and 13. Very, very nice. So now we're in the conference finals against the Denver Nuggets. And it's the Knicks and the Magic on that side of the bracket, so hopefully this is our hardest challenge. They have Jamal Murray, RJ Hampton, Michael Porter Jr., Bol, and Nikola Jokic. Again, not a bad team, but I think we're better than this team. So let's simulate the round. We go up 1-0, tied at 1-1. We go up 2-1, it's 2-2. And they're up 3-2. God frickin' darn it. I'm going to make some defensive adjustments. We got to win this series. So some defensive adjustments I made. I want to just put tight on-ball pressure, force the direction to baseline. I feel like Jokic is a better passer kind of around the elbows or around the perimeter. So I feel like being on the baseline would be a little bit harder for Jokic to make passes. Staying attached on screens because they have a bunch of good shooters. I don't want to pre-rotate, and everything else I kept automatic. I want to make sure that Fox is guarding Murray. Christian Wood is guarding Nikola Jokic. I feel like that's a pretty good matchup, Christian Wood on Nikola Jokic. And that Michael Porter Jr. is being guarded by Jimmy Butler. Let's get into this Game 6. So Game 6, we're simulating with Simcast. Let's see how this goes. We go up in the first... they have a lead at the end of the first quarter. It's very close going into halftime. It's still very close. We took a 6-point lead. We're up by 5. We're up by 4. Let's skip ahead a little bit. We're still up by a few points. It's clawing back and forth, very high scoring game. We're up by a few, we're up by a handful, we're up by about 10, and it looks like we're going to close out this game with an amazing 51-point fourth quarter, and we win 151-132. Wow. Alright, our defense I guess isn't looking all that great, but our offense is looking spectacular. De'Aaron Fox drops 41 and 12, Oladipo drops 30, and Christian Wood drops 20 and 14. So now, Game 7. This is do or die right here. Let's get it. Simulate with Simcast. They are in the lead. We have a really nice second quarter. We're up by a handful again. It's another close one. Up by 4. We're up by 10. Up by 10 still. Up by 7. I'm going to slow it down, make sure they don't make a comeback, which they're trying to do. With 1 minute left, I'm going to jump in. We are up 2 points, and we'll watch to see if we can make it to the NBA Finals in season number 3. Alright, as we get into the game here, Jimmy Butler is at the free throw line. I don't know if this is his first or second free throw. It is his first free throw, which he hits, which puts the Rockets up by 3 with a minute left to go in this winner-go-home Game 7 on Denver's home mile-high floor. And he hits the second clutch one as well. So that puts the Rockets up by 4, 2-possession game with a minute left to go. Jamal Murray is going to dribble it up the floor. Let's hope he doesn't have any of that magic he had in the Disney bubble right here. We're staying attached on those screens. Very nice. Nikola Jokic takes a weird fadeaway but hits it over Christian Wood. Wow, good defense by Christian Wood there, but better offense beats good defense sometimes. So 45 seconds to go. De'Aaron Fox tries to drive, takes a weird pull-up shot, and he misses. Nikola Jokic gets the rebound. That is not good. Nikola Jokic is pushing the break, and he passes it to Howard, whoever this is, who takes a pull-up 3, and he sinks it. Wow, I think that might be Marcus Howard. And he sinks that 3 cold-blooded. All right, the Rockets need a bucket here, and they're going to take a timeout. Nice. So, not looking as good for the Rockets as it did a few seconds ago. We were just up 4, and now we're down 1 with 28.8 seconds to go. Just need a bucket right here. We need to take a very smart shot right here and then play some defense. So let's see the play that the Steven Silas draws up for this Houston Rockets team. Nikola Jokic is the player of the game, 26 points and 12 for 17 shooting. Probably also a bunch of rebounds and a bunch of assists. Let's hopefully get an inbound here. Alright, it's inbounded to Patrick Baldwin. De'Aaron Fox drives, passes it to Oladipo. Christian Wood has it on the perimeter and brings it back to De'Aaron Fox. He's got a mismatch. That boy's small. Come on, that's a mouse in the house. Drive. Oh, takes a weird runner. Christian Wood with the putback dunk! Oh my god, Christian Wood with the putback dunk with 15 seconds to go. And the Rockets are now up by 1 point over the Denver Nuggets. The Houston Rockets need a stop. This is why we have De'Aaron Fox. Why we have Christian Wood. Why we have Jimmy Butler. Why we have Victor Oladipo for these defensive stands right here. Let's get one stop, and the Houston Rockets are going to the NBA Finals. It's inbounded to Marcus Howard. Is he really going to be the guy taking the last shot? Nikola Jokic Oh my god, what a break in coverage right there. Oh no, 6 seconds to go and the Houston Rockets are out of timeouts. They're going to force up a bad shot, I think. De'Aaron Fox takes the 3 and he misses. The Houston Rockets are going to lose. In this game 7, Jamal Murray had 29, Jokic had a 28-point triple-double, De'Aaron Fox had 27 and 9, and Christian Wood had 20 and 10 as the Rockets just fall 1 point short of the NBA Finals. So disappointing, but still a pretty good season for this Houston Rockets, and it definitely wasn't championship or bust. Still a bunch of young guys on this team. Jimmy Butler is still a good winner, and we'll see who ends up winning the NBA Finals. And it looks like it's going to be the New York Knicks with Trae Young as the Finals MVP. Alrighty, in the 2024 NBA playoffs, we're a 2 seed. If I remember correctly, we were 50 and 32, 2 games behind the first seeded New Orleans Pelicans. Let me show you our rotation really quick. De'Aaron Fox, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, Patrick Baldwin, and Christian Wood, with Xavier Tillman, Jalen Brunson, Dillon Brooks, and Casey Warren coming off of our bench getting minutes. I'll show you the plats for the plats. I was trying to say player stats. It's a cool new abbreviation I made up. Player stats for the season: De'Aaron Fox, 23 points per game and 8 assists. Christian Wood, 19 and 15 rebounds. Wow. Patrick Baldwin, Jimmy Butler, and Oladipo rounding out our starting lineup, with Jalen Brunson and Dillon Brooks being our leading scorers off the bench, with Xavier Tillman and Casey Warren behind them. So, going into this first round of the playoffs, we have the San Antonio Spurs. They're a 7 seed. I'm not particularly worried about them. We go up 1-0. We go up 2-0. Bring out the brooms. 3-0. Come on, bring out the brooms. There we go. 4-game sweep. Next, we have the Memphis Grizzlies in round number 2. They have John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. Pretty good team. I'm going to simulate the round just because we're trying to fly through this. They went up 1-0. They went up 2-1. We tied at 2-2. We go 3-2. We up, and now it's 4-2. We win that series in 6. Now in the Western Conference Finals, we're going against Kier Lewis Jr., Lonzo Ball, Ingram, Zion, and Steven Adams at the 5. Christian Wood go to work. I think that he's going to carry us through the series. Yep, they go up 2-0, 2-1, 2-2. We just wanted to make it exciting. 3-2, 3-3. Oh, I tried to stop and simulate with Simcast that game, but we win in 7 games in the Western Conference Finals. We win this last game by 14. Zion had 30 and 10, but De'Aaron Fox had 28 and 9. Patrick Baldwin had 26 and 11, and Christian Wood was 1 rebound away from a 2020 game. So finally, we're going against the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals. They have Cassius Winston, Dante DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Ariel Hukporti. I think he got drafted in 2022 or 2023. I can't remember which one. We're going to simulate the round and see if we can take this NBA Finals victory. We go up 2-0, 3-0, and 4-0. Christian Wood is your Finals MVP, averaging 18 points and 17 rebounds per game with 3 blocks as well. Really good stat line from him in the NBA Finals. And yeah, once again, it took us 4 years again, but we still got an NBA championship. Let me know how you guys think I did, what you would have done differently, and how you liked the video. Thank you, and I will see you guys for the next rebuilds.